Hi and welcome. My name is Clay, and today we're going to talk about Humoresque by Dvorak here from the Suzuki Cello Book 3. This is going to be an overview. We're just going to kind of hit the highlights here. If you're coming back to this video, be sure and check out the table of contents down in the description so you can jump to a specific section that you need. Wonderful, wonderful piece, so let's get into it. At the very beginning, it's marked leggero. Okay, so we're going to talk about the rhythm here first. And leggero translates as leisurely. All right, so this thing is not in a hurry. All right, and you'll even hear it played that way sometimes where you're kind of maybe doing a little bit of a rubato where you're speeding up and slowing down. The thing is, how do you be leisurely and precise at the same time? All right, to play with precision, which kind of gives us this feeling of rigidity, but we don't want to sound rigid, right? What I'm talking about is all those 30-second rests in there that you have to put. You have to get the space. And you have to hear that in the music while you're playing through it, okay? So very much in D major here as we're going through. The next thing with the rhythm, moving through the piece. Make sure you have dotted 16th note 32nd as you're playing through. And it says poco lento. Most everybody's going to want to have the 8th note clicking along here. That's like around 100, but remember, that's the 8th note, all right? You really do have to fill this one in 8. So 1 and 2 and, or almost like you're in a 4 there, okay? But again, back to the dotted 16th, 32nd note, make sure the 32nd note is short enough. I like to, in the second line, because you have a repeat of notes, and whenever you have a repeat of music, maybe do it a little different, especially in a piece like this that's kind of melodramatic. So there at 13, take your time. All right, coming down there with the scale. And then we're back to sort of the leggero kind of section. All right, it's kind of leisurely, it's kind of back and forth, but I would, practice with the metronome. I'm gonna actually maybe slow it down a little bit from that 100. Easy, all right, I wanna be going along easy. Now, I get from D major down to D minor. When I get down to this D minor, I do wanna be very, very rhythmical here. Okay, going through there, and this is forte, yes, okay. Also being really, really rhythmical is gonna help me with all of the shifting that is coming up. All right, this is a couple of big shifts. We've shifted to 5th position before this piece, but not to 7th position, okay? It's coming here at the top of the next page, going way up there. All right, so continue to be really rhythmical. Really spend some time there at measure 34 on that rhythm, getting it right. It's one that I hear students play incorrectly all the time. And then also at the end of the line. All right, it's got to be really, really crisp there with the rhythm. And again, as I mentioned, the shift is coming up. You got to play rhythmically if you want to really execute this shift. All right, accurately up there, getting up to the 7th position. And then the end is a repeat of music that we've seen before, okay? Now, so that's the rhythm. Let's talk about the dynamics next, kind of the dynamics and the bowing here. Since it is leisurely, okay, starting out piano, I'm gonna be right at the balance point, middle of the bow. All right, if I want an easy sound, then play in the part of the bow that's the easiest to play in. All right, as I'm going along there, really exaggerate the crescendos that you see in the 3rd and 4th line, really get up to the forte there at the beginning of 14, okay? We mentioned before that it's all forte. So, when you get down to 25 and you want a little darker sound because we've gone from D major to D minor, I'm going to play more in the lower half, right? Okay. Then it stays forte all the way through here and having a really great tone, really digging in with the bow. right, it's gonna help you with all the shifting and executing all of this correctly anyway, all right? It does slow down there at the end around measure 40, so make sure you pay attention to that. And they even mentioned there in the music that it's marked largamente, yes, okay. And then we're back to piano. Dynamics change a little bit, but not much, and then we end on a pianissimo, okay? Now, intonation-wise, make sure you're playing, we are shifting up here to second position some, so make sure you're doing, again, 2-octave G, even though the key signature is in D, so we can practice getting up there into second position. Make sure you're practicing D major scale as well as D minor, because we do have a D minor section here in the middle. And of course, the big shift here, getting it in tune. I'm gonna give you some help with that. Again, stick around to the end. I'll let you know about that one, but it's a biggie. I would do the fingering that's printed here. It's a great fingering. I've never deviated from it, all right? It's the one that you need, okay? And then the end, again, is a repeat of the beginning, okay? Now, this has been a general overview of this piece. If you want the detailed practice supplement, be sure to check that out on my website, link in the description, where I will go into detail about all of these things, all these aspects, and walk you through it. This is not to replace lessons. This is not to replace your private teacher. You need your private teacher, but this is to help you practice during the week when your private teacher is not around, okay? Just something that will help walk you through and remind you all of the points, things that you're supposed to practice in here, and really go in depth on all these things that we can't do here in a 10 or 20 minute video. So be sure and check that out down below. Now, I did also mention a resource I would give you here on YouTube for free, and that is a playlist. So some of these things I didn't go into depth with here in the video, because some of them I've covered here on the channel with shifting and playing in tune and, different things with the bow and right hand. And so be sure and check out that playlist. I'm gonna put it right here, and also includes an entire shifting tutorial where I actually use this piece as the example, all right, for the shifting. You can go watch that right here.